Yes, the answer is yes. You can use a cloud to create a disaster recovery or business continuity strategy for your company, depending on what you need. I should say, I should probably put that caveat around it. The cloud can be a great place to store data, to replicate data, to archive data that might be useful during a disaster recovery type effort. So there's cloud storage for that type of purpose. You could put a website or web application in the cloud that could be used in case of a failure. It might not have all the functionality of your primary application, but it might serve to become a temporary scaled down approach to your application in case of a disaster. There are a lot of ways to use cloud infrastructure, maybe not in exactly the same way you might use it in your own data center, because it might not be the exact same technology that you're using, but it might be a way to get a low-cost disaster recovery plan in place. Today I think that some companies, some people are looking for cloud to become the target for all their replication of their applications, all their data, and over time it will be. I think today it might be a little early because the tools and the ecosystem around disaster recovery is sort of it's a young ecosystem. It's 1.0. It's sort of early stages here, and I think as the tools advance, it will be very easy for you to move an application from a primary site to a cloud and back and forth if you need to. The tools that will be available to seamlessly replicate the data and the applications, the storage requirements will be sort of on par with one another at both sites, and it will be a lot easier. But today it's a little bit of a challenge, but a good technologist, somebody who knows the technology, a good engineer could probably put together a pretty decent plan and use the cloud effectively. Well, I think that the same considerations would apply with regard to disaster recovery that would apply to using the cloud for applications in the first place. There are certainly always going to be people that are worried about the security, which might or might not be an issue. If this is your the crown jewels of your company, the core applications, you might have issues using the cloud versus traditional infrastructure because you might have different controls in place. You might have firewalls and intrusion detection systems and all those kinds of things on your primary site that might not be available in the cloud yet. And so if it's not compatible with your primary site, it might be a little difficult. But I would say that there's always going to be applications within any environment that are low risk, sort of the low-hanging fruit to move to the cloud. And I would say anybody ought to use the cloud as a disaster recovery site for the same types of applications they would use the cloud for as a primary site. If you're willing to do it for that, then you can use it as a DR site. And you might even use two different clouds. You might be using a cloud as a primary and a cloud as a secondary, or traditional infrastructure as the primary and a cloud as a secondary. Any of those options could work.